United Rogue, welcome back. This time around is the Noodle Cup Series Grand Finals, and we've got two powerhouses taking each other heads on, but we also have another powerhouse on the desk. How's it going, Atlantis?
Is going great. I'm excited for the match. Looking at a possible bracket reset, and we'll see how tonight goes.
Yeah, and I mean, what a team that we have coming in from our uppers. That's going to be Philadelphia. Over the course of this playoffs, Atlantis, they have dropped to literally 2 games. That is a ridiculous statistic, and Denver's going to be taking on the impossible.
Yeah, that's a extreme way to go throughout the playoffs, and we'll see if Denver's able to make them drop some more.
Right on, and of course, both teams are going to be fielding full rosters as best as they can. That is, there is, I believe, all 3 players on the side of Denver are not the ones that we're seeing from last night. So that should be relatively interesting on the side of Denver. But for Philadelphia, of course, the roster that we are used to seeing here in game number 1, he got coming out on top, Atlantis.
I'd like to see Philly with the way they've been playing come out on top, but we'll see with Denver running a different lineup than last night. Things could go any way.
And if we get into game number 1, obviously Philadelphia are going to be the massive overdogs, of course, coming in from the upper bracket. And given their recent history, I think the last time these two teams went heads up, it was 4-1 in favor of Philadelphia. So the bracket reset certainly in question tonight. It's within the realm of possibility, but Denver certainly gonna have to work for it here. Game number 1 beginning. It's Noah who finds the first.
Yeah, and I mean, that's just unfortunate. It was a good setup from Denver and perfect setup. Ended up winning with the bump into the own goal. And I mean, it's just unfortunate it happens. See how Philadelphia handles it.
Yeah, Philadelphia more than happy to take that first. The Denver on the other side of the pitch. See if they can answer back to this 1-goal deficit, but that's not a big problem for these 3 players, of course. All 3 of them very capable of putting strong shots on net. Here's Clef as she takes up quickly. Now Kisby as well from the corner, but all 3 of Denver are a little low on boost, and that awkwardness in the midfield certainly not helping their case either.
Yeah, I mean, so far it's been kind of back and forth between the two teams on offensive pressure. It's just that Denver was able to get through Philly's line first, and now Philly's got to figure out Denver's.
And another shot to Noah. Slams another one, looking for the top end. Now Kisby threatening that counter attack, and that's once again gonna put Philly bit of a tough spot. Noah looking to hold on, but he's used all of his boost just to get into the half. Now Clef over to Team Man. No shot there just yet either. Denver scratching it back, looking for that first goal, but the shots have been limited. Philadelphia playing a very tight midfield game, Atlantis.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing a good job at stopping the shots that Denver's getting put on them, but they got to start putting some more shots on Denver as well if they want to get anything through.
And now, a little bit of time in the midfield. Noah on target, but things starting to slow down a little bit, which means that Denver has a little bit of time to regroup now that they're stuck on the defensive. Should be ample opportunity for them to get themselves a possession.
Yeah, looking at boost, it's looking like Denver's got a little more control on that boost right now, and that could be the big changing point of this game. As I say that, 2 of their players are rushing around the field low boost, but they've still got the pressure on Philly.
Still that first yet to come halftime in regulation for game number 1. Philadelphia thus far setting the precedent. Here's Death up quickly, and there's only 1 defender left back for Denver, which means that Philadelphia looking to close the gap. A big breakout. Kisby, if he had a little bit more boost to work with, certainly Denver would have found themselves a shot. But now Noah Jackson on the right as well. Philadelphia, you can see them forming that trident. It's a deadly spear coming to poke in a second goal, but first Denver looking to answer back.
Yeah, I mean, it's been an interesting game so far. I'd like to see how things go for the rest of it going into game 2 and see if they can get that mentality back together. Make sure they're holding on and keeping this pressure like they have been.
And the pressure certainly has been coming, but that big pinch downfield knocking out Philadelphia's case. Denver, though, still itching for every possession they can get. These passing lanes beginning to open up, especially in the midfield. You can see Clef trying to find Kisby in the midfield whenever the opportunity presents itself once again. Clef, big downfield. Jackson, awkward. There's 2 players left back for Philadelphia this time around. No harm should be coming to this net as Death, although a little bit low on boost, gets the job done, and only a minute and change. It's looking less and less likely that Denver's going to find this comeback.
Yeah, I mean, Denver's just got to pull through, put that last shot on that's going to break through the line, and it's not been working out so far.
Yeah, the shot number certainly leaving a little bit to be desired on the side of Denver. And especially with how often they've been running low on boost. I mean, take a look at the meters right now. It's only T-Man who had boost for a little bit. That is before Kisvi and Clef were able to pick up their own respective corners. Now here's Kisvi to the skies. But once again, can't get past Death, who with literally zero boost, a ridiculous ceiling challenge stops Denver in their tracks.
Yeah, I mean, that was just a good challenge, set up perfect timing, and it's right back Philly on offense again. Denver's got to find a way to break it on that midfield and stop letting them push them around, it looks like.
Yeah, it's once again the boost Atlantis on the near post. They are once again running on fumes. Denver struggling to break out of their own half. Here's T-Man, but without the recovery, he's going to have to let that play go. Philadelphia on the defensive have held on time and time again, and here in the end of game number 1, it's going to be no different. As they keep possession and send it to the ground, Philadelphia looking strong.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good game altogether. It's just unfortunately Denver couldn't pull off what they needed to break through the defense of Philadelphia, and Philadelphia was able to do that to Denver. So we'll see if they can get that turned around next game, see if they can find those chinks in the armor.
And they've been looking here and there at Denver, certainly trying to find some of those passes. I mentioned Clef earlier on. For those of you unaware, Clef, Levani, same person. But that being said, Clef certainly looking for some of these passes. Kizvi as well tended to be in his sights pretty often as they try to connect in the midfield. But Philadelphia, such a good job finding those passing lanes and shutting them down before they became a problem is certainly a big thorn in the side of Denver.
Yeah, but I mean, Denver's going to have to figure something out. Philadelphia had 11 shots that game where Denver only had, was it 3 or 4? Maybe 5. They've got to get some more shots if they want that opportunity to take this win.
They had 4, I believe, all on the side of T-Man, might I mention. T-Man credited for every single shot that Denver put on target, at least for game number 1. We'll see if that changes here. Philadelphia, though, you can see why that last scoreline was 4-1 in their favor. The last time these two teams went heads up, Denver now looking to flip the script, and that starts here in game number 2. If they can take away some of the momentum Philadelphia has built up, that's an excellent look for the series, Atlantis.
Yeah, I mean, they had a great show at the beginning of game 1. Their passing plays were looking good. They just couldn't break through, but it's looking like they've got a little bit more pressure coming into this next game.
And now Philadelphia, that's a shot that they wish they could have back. Denver now on the answer back, T-Man. So many shots for his name in game number 1. He's yet to find his first here, but the time is still early. And now Jackson's up. That's a tough angle to make, and T-Man has to stretch in order to keep that one. Now Philadelphia already cleanly leading in terms of the shot opportunities and the possession. Denver once again choked inside their own half. It's only a matter of time before Philadelphia score first.
Yeah, I mean, Philadelphia's got that pressure that Denver just is having a hard time breaking through, and without that, it's just going to be these shot after shot games from Philadelphia, and it's just not going to work out for Denver unless they can figure out a way to break out of it.
And you can see this repeated formula from Philadelphia. It's going to lead Denver to crack sooner or later. This time around, Jackson, he gets the job done, but we saw literally a minute straight of repeated pressure. First player taking the shot and then going for the bump immediately afterwards put Denver in such a tough spot, Atlantis.
Yeah, I mean, Denver they're letting them get too many shots and openings where situations like that do occur. You got that last man back in net and they take the bump, and now it's a net for the other team.
Now Denver looking to answer back in kind. Here's Clef, top in double tap. It's beautifully played for the Denver Scream as they break the dry spell. That's the first goal they've scored in games 1 and 2, and what a way to open the scoreboard.
Yeah, I mean, that was a wonderful shot coming out from Clef. There wasn't much that Philadelphia could do to defend that. He set up perfectly, and they answered right back, which is exactly what they needed.
Absolutely ridiculous. You got to give Kisvi his flowers as well as he finds Clef in the midfield. The Denver Scream. Certainly a bit of a momentum bring back with that shot. Now Clef once again from the side. Will no boost to his name, but does get it past the first defender. Jackson quick on the turnaround. It's going to force T-Man into a tough spot. But now things slowing down once again in the midfield. Philadelphia keeping up so much repeated, sustained pressure. Denver, and this time around, they don't crack.
Yeah, it's just looking a lot of the times, and I know we've mentioned it before already, but a lot of the times when they're on that offensive pressure from Philadelphia, Denver doesn't actually have any boost. And it's just Philadelphia's controlling it much better than they are at the moment, and I'd like to see them get that together.
So far, though, Denver at least doing a good job controlling their two corner boosts. That was a main struggle back in game number 1. This was a big one downfield, Kisvy for the redirect, but Jackson has that passing lane shut down. Halftime in regulation once again for game number 2 in the Denver Scream. Once again with no boost from the corner as they throw themselves at the play. Here's T-Man. Sidewall past one, but likely not to get past Jackson here, especially with all the boost that he has to work with. Bit awkward, but Philadelphia gets the job done once again.
Yeah, I mean, Philadelphia's having an impressive showing on that defensive and midfield pressure, just keeping Denver from getting out into their half and getting the opportunity and shots that they need to bring in a win this game.
Still, you gotta respect the fact that Denver has certainly stepped up to the batting plate here in game number 2. Starting off with a double tap, and they're going to be looking for some more Jackson, though, on the side of Philadelphia, threatening the double reset. Denver answering back. Here's Kisvy with a double tap of his own. That's a tough angle to make, and even with the defender on the near post, that's a tough call. Jackson, see what he can do here from the backboard as he's got 2 players empty on the side of Denver to get through. And once again, Denver holding on for dear life by a thread. A combined 50 boost across all 3 players, and they're still alive.
Yeah, I mean, Denver, they're showing the defense. They're keeping the opportunities off, but they're also struggling to get out of their half when they need to. And it's going all in favor of Philadelphia right now. I'd like to see this pressure continue, but I'd also like to see Denver start getting some pressure of their own.
It's surprising, though, with the amount of sustained pressure that Philadelphia has had. It's a miracle that the scoreline is still as equal as it is. Noah, though, looking to change that. He's also got Jackson on his right to continue the play as necessary. That's a big demo, and Denver, a ton of space to work with in the midfield. But this solo play is not going to cut it this time around. Couple of seconds remaining, and you gotta imagine if Philadelphia score here, then it will have a ton of momentum going into the rest of the series.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a really close game. It's really well played from Denver on the defensive end. It's just picking up that offensive pressure to open up the shots that they need.
Right on, another demolition as both teams trying to open things up in the midfield. And there's Kisvy. Denver, for the first time this series, have got a lead. Can they close it out?
I love where this is going. They're not having as many shots as Philadelphia's, but the shots they are getting are quality and are going into the net. And if they can keep that up, this could go any way.
Philadelphia, a couple seconds left to answer back off the kickoff. It's desperate as Noah, with a couple of boosts to his name, looking to get past the side wall. In Denver, keeping the ball alive in play for now. Philadelphia have got to speed it up while time permits. It's death past 1, but not past 2. And Denver closing out game number 2, Atlantis.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really good showing towards the end from Denver. I like to see that. That's a good momentum killer for Philadelphia, and hopefully they can keep that momentum going into game 3.
And you know they're building up confidence, especially after that first goal from Denver. They're certainly feeling now, but still, you gotta imagine that Denver is going to be feeling it a little bit. You gotta remember that last scoreline, 4-1 in favor of Philadelphia. And this might be the only game that Denver gets in the series if they're not careful. But as we get into game number 3, if they get even a fraction of this pressure, then they should be good. I mean, this Denver's looking strong.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt on that. Denver, they came in, they were struggling a little bit in game 1, but game 2, they came out and showed us why they are here and that they deserve to be here.
Yeah, especially from their performance last night, they must be brimming with confidence, ready to take on, but also got to keep it in mind, even if Denver take this series, there's still a massive bracket reset to go. So that's another best of 7, but first gotta focus on the task at hand. Philadelphia Denver 1-1 in the series, and got to imagine whoever takes the next point gonna be totally ahead in terms of confidence.
Yeah, I mean, whoever wins this game, it's definitely going to help them either way on the confidence. But if we get that bracket reset, this is already a game of endurance. Once we hit that bracket reset, if we do, it's going to become a lot more on who can last longer.
Yep, a battle of attrition, if you will, already. Demos flying in and out of the midfield as bit of time for Philadelphia to make the stop, but they cannot stretch thin enough to make it happen. A beautiful shot from Denver. Once again Kisby and Clef were able to find the passing lane. The exact same duo from game number 1 who got that first goal. This is a killer duo, Atlantis.
Yeah, I mean, I'm loving what I'm seeing from them so far. These passing plays into shots that are just connecting perfectly. If they can keep that up, they actually have a good chance of taking this from Philly.
Right on, but first gotta contend with death, and no! Denver, despite their best efforts to stretch on the near post, it's once again denied, but oh my goodness, death, that midfield fake, that's disgusting.
Yeah, that's just a very unfortunate situation. He managed to get it out into the field and take that shot. Teammate couldn't quite get it far enough over into the post.
Now once again dead equal. This is the same scoreline we saw for so long in game number 2. It was hung at 1-1 apiece for the longest time until Denver was able to take it back in the last couple of seconds. Philadelphia simply cannot afford to let that happen again. Now here's Death. A little bit of an awkward touch here from the corner as the bounce goes much higher than he'd like. Not to let that play go. Now Denver from the corner as Kisby commits deep T-man as well. Denver throwing everything at the wall, and something is sure to stick soon.
I mean, Denver's definitely got the pressure this game, and they're keeping their shots, but when Philly's getting shots too, you've got to be able to hold the defense. They're doing a good job of that. So far, it's not been any complaints. It's been a really good game of Rocket League.
And Denver as well doing a much better job at maintaining control of their own boost, as well as nabbing the midfield can be huge for them in terms of possession, but not Philadelphia. On the turnaround, here's Noah. Death as well, looking for a demo, and that team's found it, but T-Man, no boost on the near post. Heroics to keep Denver alive.
Yeah, that was just really impressive demo, but a really good save from T-Man, just keeping that ball away from their net, clearing it out, and setting them up, giving them time to get boost, and reset for another defensive press.
Oh, now Kisby, a massive flick from the midfield. I mean, sent that one to the moon. Almost ended up in orbit, but Philadelphia from the heavens able to turn that one around. Now from the corner, it's once again, here's Noah. Quick shot. It's gone slightly wide, but at least he saw the opening. That bottom right corner was tantalizingly open. Now Jackson, strong 50 as well. Philadelphia, truly end-to-end stuff we're witnessing here, Atlantis.
Yeah, this has been definitely a very interesting game. It's looking good on both teams. The big thing is when Denver's able to get it past that midfield of Philadelphia, they're able to get those quick shots. It's just, I'd love to see them put more in. But other than that, both teams have been playing really good.
Yeah, both teams running an incredibly tight ship. Who's going to sink first, though? Couple of minutes on the clock, and it's about this time around here in game number 2 that we saw Denver start to pick up the upper hand. But they've had the upper hand for what feels like most of game number 3, at least thus far. Now here's Clef from the corner, but he's going to want this corner boost before he takes a trip out. Once again, depriving Philadelphia of those precious resources, and that's exactly what's kept Denver alive once again. Jackson running on absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I'm loving that Denver's taking control of the boost. I know they were struggling with a little bit that first game, but coming in second game, they're doing better. And third game, they're keeping it from Philadelphia this time. And that's definitely what they're going to need to pull this off. Keep Philadelphia low on boost, makes it harder to save anything, and just keep taking shots.
Right on. So far, oh, T-Man, another clutch save, a defensive masterclass from this one player. But Denver, the David in our story, continues to chip away at Goliath. Minute and change, and it really feels like it's still a coin flip. Noah and Death deep on the offensive half are going to have to let that play go. Now here's Kisby, a ridiculous read to get a central, but no, that shot certainly one Denver wishes they could have back.
Yeah, it would have been really nice to see Denver take that shot and get it. Unfortunately, that doesn't always work out in your favor, and let's see if they can turn it around, get that opportunity back, and score it.
Oh, it's off the crossbar yet again. Denver so close to success, just a hair's width off of punching in the second. Would have been the exact same scoreline we ended game number 2 with, but that's on target as well. T-Man to turn it away from the corner once again. T-Man trying to buy his team a little bit of time to regroup because it is total mayhem on the near post. Clef is backwards and Kisby is still recovering, but Denver stay alive yet again.
Yeah, I mean, Denver's playing an absolutely amazing defense here tonight. And especially with this pressure Philadelphia's been putting on them, I know it's not easy. And it's definitely something they're working on and putting hard effort into.
But still, you can see the panic beginning to settle in as Denver throwing themselves at the defense as Kisby to turn it away into the corner, but he's got to send the play down, and that's exactly what Denver do. An overtime for game number 3, the first we've seen in this series, and one goal determines who has all the momentum in this series.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to see an overtime game 3. I'd love to see more of them. Hopefully that one of the team, whoever comes out on top of this, can continue to hold the pressure into the next game and keep it going. It's always rough when you take that one game and then you immediately lose the other. It is hard on you as a player, but as long as they can keep it together, they'll have it.
Yep, and you can imagine the nerves are beginning to settle in on both sides of the pitch as well. Denver off the top bar once again as they poke a hole into that backboard. Now T-Man, he's been loving these midfield fakes, but he's not going to break open the Philadelphia defense this time around. But Death is looking to do that from the corner. That's going to be on target, and T-Man, he's been a defensive master this entire game number 3, but in this overtime, he was stretched a little too thin.
Yeah, looked like Jackson was setting up for that demo, so he pulled off. So T-Man pulled off to try to get a better angle, and he just wasn't quite able to get to it in time. It was just really well played on the side of Philadelphia right there.
Yeah, fantastic amounts of pressure is eventually going to lead to the goal. That's been the recurring theme for Philadelphia from games 1 and until now. Just repeated shot after shot. First man, of course, always looking for that demo. It was going to put Denver in a tough spot again and again. Now we've got game number 4, and so far Philadelphia are overdogs. Looking strong in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, once again, we got Philadelphia with more shots. They're sitting at a total of 10. It's looking a lot closer, though, with Denver having a total of 7. But they're also not quite making Philadelphia stretch for those saves like they need to.
Yep, a little bit of time here in between games as both teams taking a minute to figure it out. Lock in for the remaining part of this series. Denver, of course, still hoping to force that bracket reset as we get into game number 4. Denver started off so strong in the beginnings of each game. They've nearly always managed to score first for the past couple of games. And they're hoping that they can do that once again here in game 4.
Yeah, that was a great start off for Denver, setting it right down onto their end right off the kickoff. It's just they weren't quite able to keep the pressure, and they're turning it back around immediately to set up for another shot, and we've got one coming out of T-Man.
They do it again. Off the rip, Denver scores first. And like you said, T-Man, although he had 0 boost to work with at the end of the aerial, still has enough to punch it into the back of the net. Philadelphia trailing by 1, but this is a team who's been known to make these comebacks with a flick of their wrist. However, this time around, Denver looking strong off rib. Now Kisby to the skies. He's also got Clef to work with in the midfield for this follow-up as well, but he's going solo. A massive touch off the backboard, and it is total mayhem on the Philadelphia defense. How do they manage to hold on?
Yeah, I mean, it's impressive the way that Philadelphia is managing to hold the defense. This is the same way the game started last time, so we'll see if this time Denver can pull out the win.
Right on, but still both teams duking it out in the midfield as Noah over to Death. Noah's going to be able to find another one, but that's a bit of an awkward double commit on the side of Philadelphia. Denver likely to take advantage of the situation if they can speed the play up. But Philadelphia sneaking in an aggressive challenge here and there has constantly kept Denver with their heads on a swivel, having to keep out, or an eye out for these challenges, I should say. But here in game number 4, Philadelphia not getting as many shots as we saw in game 3, so signs of life for Denver if they want to keep this lead.
Yeah, I'm really liking what I'm seeing from Denver right now. They're managing to hold off, but unfortunately, there's a shot from Noah right there off the wall straight in.
Yeah, I mean, that is just ridiculous. That second touch where he controls it to the sidewall. Noah, I mean, we were talking a little bit before this matchup got underway at Lantes. We mentioned Noah, one of the most improved players that we've seen in NCS. And so far living up to that standard. Now Philadelphia with an early possession off the kickoff. Noah no boost, but still finds the 50. Death as well as Jackson committing deep into the midfield to find that second goal.
Yeah, I mean, we got another tied up game. We'll see who ends up coming out on top of this one. Right now, it honestly, with the pressure, it's looking like it very well could be Denver.
Still gotta imagine that it is a complete coin flip. In game 2, it was also 1-1 for the majority. Denver came out on top, and we just saw the overtime in game 3 as well. Also 1-1 scoreline, so history does tend to repeat itself here. Now Jackson once again from the corner. Death finding himself in a spot to come off with a shot. If he can beat the last defender, Noah as well, but Philadelphia now running out of boost has to let go of that play. Still got to imagine they are looking significantly stronger after halftime in regulation.
Yeah, I mean, that first half they were looking a little unstable, but it looks like they've picked it back up and cleaned it up going into the second half and are pulling stuff off that they need to pull off, taking a little bit more control, taking a little bit more pressure, and taking these shots they need.
It is, however, worth mentioning that some of the passes that we saw from both Philadelphia and Denver have come to a standstill as both teams now opting for solo plays. This one's a straight shot off the sidewall as Clef credited for the second goal, but really, what's gone wrong here on the Philadelphia rotation?
Yeah, that's the question right there. We had no one back from Philadelphia, leaving that open shot for Denver, and you're right, we haven't seen as many of these passing plays in the last couple games that we were seeing from both teams at the beginning that were ever most effective. So we'll see if they bring those back or keep playing these solo plays that are also seeming to work out for them.
We talked a little bit about Kisvy and Cliff in particular, this dynamic duo who loves fighting their favorite off the sidewall. Here's Death though, that's on target. Turned away courtesy of Clef Kisvy. A big touchdown field, but trying to keep control is going to be a tall order when Noah is in the air. He's been able to find so many effective challenges, putting Philadelphia in a good spot over and over. But now Clef piecing up the defense. Noah once again there to bail them out. Kisvy, a little bit of boost to find this angle, and Ted barely keeps it out.
That was something else on that shot. That was a really impressive shot coming out of Kisvy. Unfortunately, just not quite enough power. That was a very awkward angle, so he had to lightly tap it. But turn around, and now we're looking at the other end of the field where Noah's going to put a shot in.
Well, he barely got a piece of that. I actually don't know how he managed to credit himself for that goal. His wheel just barely brushed the top, but still Denver not too happy about that one. Dead equal for game number 4, minute and change as Philadelphia takes to the sky as Noah's pass one, looking for the bump as well. Once again, it's the first man taking the shot, looking for the bump. The Philadelphia formula never disappoints, and they're going to be relying upon it to get themselves a lead here in game 4.
Yeah, I mean, they've cleaned it up a lot since the first half of the game. It was like this last game, too, where they started off that first half a little shaky, and going into the second half, they look a whole lot better.
Right on, but still, anyone's game. Philadelphia, though, if they score here, they are likely to end up on match point, and that is the absolute worst case scenario for Denver as they look to fight for possession. As Kisvy from the sidewall, no boost, but pass to one. Clef committing deep as well, but he was looking for the pass. A pass which was never to be. A couple of seconds, and we could be heading into our second overtime for this series, Atlantis.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a very interesting matchup for another round of overtime. I'd be very curious to see who comes out on top. And it looks like we're going to get that overtime right here.
Philadelphia, 1 goal means match point, and they are so close to getting themselves a crown for NCS. A team that's performed phenomenally throughout the course of the playoffs could be seconds away from getting themselves that much closer to claiming themselves as the champions. Denver, though, fighting back as that's a big one. Downfield team in. That's going to be a long, slow road to the back post for him, and they need everyone they can get, but there is no one to be found. Death, once again, the Reaper in Denver, no answer.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate for Denver. It was a good pass from Jackson to bang it downfield, and Death was just right there to follow it up, putting that final nail in the coffin going into this match. And let's hope Denver can clean it up.
And now this is a truly dismal situation for Denver, but still, You can't help but feel for this team. Every loss has been by 1 goal. Despite the series score, this is, I mean, this is inches of separation at best. Denver, though, oh man, how many more 1 goal games are we going to get?
And yeah, that's the big question here. Denver's definitely making Philadelphia fight for it match by match, but Philadelphia is still putting themselves on top and getting the most goals in the game to take the win. And Denver's just got to figure something out to stop them from getting those goals.
See if they can figure it out here. Philadelphia, it's match point for this powerhouse team. This time around, I don't know if we're going to get the storyline. I think Goliath might beat David, but only game number 5 will tell us what is meant to be. So we get into the kickoff here. Denver, they've scored first for the last, I want to say, 2 to 3 games. And if they do that once again, they're in a good spot to make sure that Philadelphia doesn't get an easy one.
And it's not looking good for Denver to start off this game with Jackson putting in that shot with the pass from Death. That's a tough spot to be in to start off a game, especially when you know your confidence is already hurting because you've lost the last game and you know this is match point. So let's see if they can clean it up, hold it together, and pull off some goals this game themselves.
Oh, but now it's Philadelphia once again. Noah threatening their Arsenal reset as he looks to get past the last defender. Philadelphia already looking confident. So much momentum to their name and confidence. It's going to mean that it's an uphill battle for Denver through and through. But uphills are something that Denver are quite comfortable working with. Now T-Man from the corner with no boost finds Kisby to the backboard. Double tap. He gets the angle, Atlantis.
Yeah, I mean, that's just... They set it up, and he was right there to finish it up and put it in, and there's not much you can do to stop that. That was a really impressive angle and really good shot. Unfortunately, Philadelphia had overcommitted a little too much on the defense, leaving that net wide open.
It's picture perfect for the Denver Scream. And once again, it's a 1-1 score line. That's likely to change here because he makes the stop, but how many more times we're going to see this score line hit 1-1? Gotta feel like there's only hair's width separating these two teams right now. Jackson, strong 50 over to Death as Death. He was the shot maker for our overtime back in game 4. He was the one who sealed the deal. He's gonna be looking to do that again for this series.
Yeah, I mean, these games are really coming down to who makes the most mistakes. Both teams are fighting for every inch on the field and doing everything they can to get these wins.
And now both teams duking out on the pitch again. That's a big one downfield. Jackson stretched out on the near post to make that stop with a half tank. Threatening the air dribble bump. No Clef. Able to make a miracle save by floating over the top of the attacker. Making sure to keep that one out of the net by a thread. Still, Philadelphia vying for possession here inside their own half. Denver up quickly. This speed has been something they can rely upon. And Clef. A strong shot and a strong second.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good start for Denver. They're definitely looking solid. They had that 1 goal scored on them early on. But since then, they've managed to clean it up. But we're also still in that first half where the last couple of games, Philadelphia's looked a little shaky. Once we get to that second half, we'll see how they're playing.
Now Denver, with that 1 goal lead, they've had so many of these opportunities over the course of the last couple games where they've led by 1 but could not find it in them to hold on to that lead. Philadelphia, this time around on the back foot. Death. From the corner, he's going to try to nab this corner boost, but he gets demoed for his efforts. That's a big opening for Denver as they look to find possession. Demos left and right across the pitch as both teams looking to poke a hole in the rotation, get themselves every advantage that they can possibly have. Still, Philadelphia have not found the way to crack open the second goal.
Yeah, unfortunately for Philadelphia, it's not been working out. I don't know if they're starting to stumble a little bit and let the nerves get to them or what's going on with them, but we'll see if they can pull it together for the last 2 minutes of this game and get that goal, which they're taking a lot of shots right now, so we'll see if Denver is able to keep the defensive pressure up.
And you can see these passes beginning to form as well as Noah was trying to find Death in the midfield. Death! He's going to be able to find the follow-up, and that's an easy second for the Philadelphia Plague. They answer back once again, and you knew it was over the second that Noah found the second touch. Denver, that's a tough spot to be in.
Yeah, I mean, Philadelphia just had the pressure overall there. Unfortunately, Clef ended up slipping off that back and falling down into an awkward spot where he just wasn't able to get the next save, and Death was right there to follow into that shot.
And he's been there time and time again to take back what's once his. Every goal that Philadelphia scored, or at least in the last couple of games, I want to say Game 5 and Game 4, Death has been involved in some way, shape, or form. Now once again, from the corner, Death, he finds Noah, but Noah, no follow for him this time around as Denver find a suitable clear to the corner, but once again, it was looking dicey. Denver had to make a picture-perfect save there, or else Noah was punching that in every day of the week.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking right now, both teams, every goal, it's just the next goals, the next person's pressure just keeps going back and forth, and whenever Denver scores, Philadelphia starts taking pressure, and once Philadelphia scores, Denver starts taking pressure. It's definitely a good-looking game right now, and I'm loving the demos that I'm seeing.
And I don't think the Demolitions are going to stop anytime soon. Once again, both teams looking for a foothold of any form they can use to get an advantage. Just under a minute. Here's a pass. Death turned away, courtesy of T-Man, and now Kisvy as well. Trying to break out of their own half, but two players commit. This could be an opening for Philadelphia, but that is not the touch Jackson wanted at all. He's going to have to let that play go as he tries to work on the defense, but it is so dicey right now.
Yeah, I mean, they had a good setup there, good opportunity. Unfortunately, they just didn't have anyone to follow it up from the Denver end. But, so Philadelphia was able to get that clear, send it back out, right back around to Philadelphia's side.
And now the pace of play is certainly heating up. You can feel Denver, the nerves are truly settling in now as they begin to realize that their backs are completely against the wall as we approach overtime. One goal inside their net means that they will no longer be in the running for the championship. Philadelphia, we've had 2 overtimes thus far. They have won both. Will that happen a third time?
Yeah, we're really looking to see if Denver can break the curse right now on the overtimes against Philadelphia, because right now, if they can take this back, it's going to hurt. And we've got shots, and T-Man scores off that backboard. That was an insane shot right there to bounce it off that far post and put it in. Right around Noah. Just too clean.
I mean, that is as sharp as an angle as possible from the corner. Could cut a piece of paper with that one. Beautifully played by Denver. Philadelphia, I mean, not many people are going to expect that shot to come out from the corner, and Philadelphia, no exceptions this time around. What a performance.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a really hard shot to read. He put it perfectly off that backboard, straight off that back post. It's such an angle that there'd be very few people that'd be hard-pressed to read that shot.
Now Denver giving themselves signs of life in this series, but now you can imagine the stamina game is going to become a real problem. Denver, in order to force that back reset, are not only going to have to continue this pseudo reverse sweep, but also that bracket reset still looming in the distance. As we get into game 6, hopefully not the last for Denver as they continue to chug along.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see Denver take this game, take it to a game 7. Overall, they're showing a really impressive team here and showing why they deserve to be here.
Off the kickoff, Philadelphia already vying for possession like they've done so many times over the course of this series. Strong and consistent pressure is the name of the game for the Philadelphia Plague. Now here's Jackson trying to threaten T-Man, but T-Man full boost. No harm gonna come to the net this time around. Noah, he's also got Death to work with. Death has been leading in terms of shots over the course of this series. Tries to rip another one on target, but Denver have it covered.
Yeah, Death's been putting shot after shot on, and thankfully Denver so far has been able to hold it for themselves and keep up the pressure on the defense, keeping every save as best as they can.
But man, are they stretched thin sometimes. Not every save can be made, and especially when it's Death hammering at your door. You can only hold on for so long. Now here's Death as he tries to find the midfield for Jackson. It's a tough ask for Noah prior to this angle, and can only get a suitable touch to the corner before handing away possession. But that's on target, turned away by Jackson as Denver trying to poke a hole into the back of that net. But every goal at this point for Denver means a little bit more signs of life here in this year's Atlantis.
Yeah, Denver's definitely showing that they're here, and they may have had some mistakes at the beginning of the series, but they're here to play and they're cleaning it up a lot.
And they've had consistent pressure for the better part of the last 30 seconds. So now here's T-Man. That's a tough bounce for Philadelphia to work with. And what? There's no way, thank goodness, Kisby is there to punch that one in. But as it hovered on the goal after a split second, there looked like a moment where Philadelphia might be able to turn that one out.
Yeah, that was a very scary shot right there, and it would have definitely been a confidence killer had Philadelphia been able to stop Denver from scoring that. Thankfully, they were able to, and let's see if they can keep up that pressure they've been having.
And also thank you Frost Esports for joining. Welcome to the Noodle Cup Series Grand Finals, where we've got the Denver Scream taking out the Philadelphia Plague. You guys tuned in just in time. This one is looking like it might go the distance, with Denver leading with this one goal, looking to force the Game 7. And don't go anywhere, because if Denver win this, there's still a massive bracket reset to go. We could be here all night, folks. Philadelphia, though, only just getting started.
Again, it's just Denver pressure on pressure. They're taking shot after shot. This is looking complete opposite from how the series began, where it's Philadelphia putting on all the shots. Philadelphia is just not finding the opportunities that they were at the beginning. Maybe Denver's got them figured out.
And I sure do hope that is the case, especially Denver fans rejoicing in the fact that they're holding on to this one goal lead, but I feel like Philadelphia got to be the favorites to answer back sooner or later, especially with Death. Threading this 50 from the corner is going to put Denver in a tough spot. They're going to have to send the ball away in order to keep themselves alive. Now here's Noah. He's also got Jackson in the midfield to work with as he takes off quickly. Denver, though, holding on to this one goal lead. They've struggled in the past before to keep that one goal lead intact, but this time around it's looking different.
Yeah, Denver's definitely looking a lot better this game on the terms of defense, keeping them from scoring and keeping that pressure on them to keep that ball away from their net, while also not allowing the midfield pushes that they were allowing earlier on in the series.
Right on in Philadelphia, though, they're looking to open up some of this passing lanes. Oh, that is a big miss in the midfield. Nothing more can be said about that Philadelphia. Likely gonna have to let go of possession. As a result, here's Kisby. See wall dashes from the sidewall. Clef, no, leaving a little bit to be desired on that shot, but the follow-up is there, and it's a 1-2 give and go for the Denver Scream.
Yeah, T-Man getting that perfect little pop-up right to Clef, just perfect little 1-2, and not much Philadelphia can do with their positioning.
Yep, and it's one of the larger leads that Denver Scream has had over the course of this series. It's mostly been 1-0, 1-1 scorelines like that for the most part. This is one of the few rare times that Denver has had a 2-0 lead, and this is as good a time as ever as they send themselves to Game 7. A pre-flip 50 from Kisby. Death has to answer it back quickly and does so in kind as he sends it down the field. T-Man up, and so is Noah. Ridiculous pre-jump challenge. Denver looking strong as they force this Game 7.
Yeah, Denver is definitely looking to expand that lead. They're looking good right now, and I'd love to see this continue into Game 7, and if we get a bracket reset, even into that.
And still, Philadelphia running a little dry here. I think this is the longest this series. I don't want to, well, don't quote me just yet, chat, but I think this is the longest this series that they've gone without scoring. So a little bit of a dry spell for the Philadelphia Plague, but this dry spell is certainly not going to last too long. Oh, Kisby, that's just going to sail right into the back of the net. Philadelphia, bit of an off game for them as David finally winning out with the Goliath.
Yeah, I'm definitely liking what I'm seeing from Denver right now. Philadelphia just isn't able to hold their pressure this game, and I'm really liking that pressure. They're just shot after shot after shot, not letting Philadelphia do anything.
Yeah, and what a way for them to force that Game 7. This bracket reset looking more so of a reality than any of us thought possible. Philadelphia Plague. They've got one more game to work with if they don't want to start from new. Denver Scream. My goodness, what a turnaround this team has had over the course of the last 2 games, Atlantis.
Yeah, it's been a very impressive change of pace. We've gone from Philadelphia just holding all control, Denver struggling with boost, to now it's almost looking the exact opposite, where Denver's got all the control and Philadelphia is the one struggling with boost. And we're going into a game 7 in this first series.
Still, you got to imagine the nerves now at sky high for the Denver Scream. Their backs still against the wall here, knowing that Philadelphia, if they manage to close this game out, they will be walking away with the series. And it's tough knowing that even if you win this game, there is still so much more to play.
Yeah,
Philadelphia, though. Well, battle of
Denver's
attrition, like you said.
definitely, yeah, Denver's definitely got to be on edge right now because this game is the game that decides it all. If they win, they get that bracket reset and get that chance. But at the same time, if they lose, it's over. They are looking really good. Let's just see if they can keep this pressure up over the long game.
I was drinking water, but while I was drinking water, we got Minor League Esports. Wait, who? Hold up. Put my water bottle away. Okay. Yeah, Emily, who's joining us for the stream. Welcome to the stream, guys. We've got ourselves a game 7 on hand for this Noodle Cup Series Grand Finals. Denver and Philadelphia has just sent themselves into a bracket reset, or maybe will be sending themselves into a bracket reset. I should say Denver, coming in from that lower bracket, has to win one more game in order to force that reality. So we get into game 7. Philadelphia, coming in from the upper bracket, are looking to close it out. See if they can do that here, Atlantis.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see it. They're definitely going to be a little stressed going into this game, having not been able to put any shots on net last game. But let's see if they can clean that up and bring it back this game.
Right on, game number 7 gets underway as the sun begins to set on Champions Field. Hopefully Philadelphia able to close it out. Because otherwise, it's going to be a very long night. Denver, though, they're looking and they're thriving in the moment. Here's Kisby flip reset, but can't find the left side of the bin. He noticed it was slightly open, but no shot going to come out this time around. Philadelphia, a little bit slower here to open up game 7 as both teams certainly taking the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely looking a little slower than last game. We haven't seen the right out of the gate pressure from either team that we've seen varying between the games. We haven't really seen too many shots pulled out quite yet, which is something we've been seeing every game. So this is definitely setting up to be a really tough match.
Yep, I mean, it's already surprising enough that it's gone the distance. Now the fact that Denver close to this bracket reset is even more surprising. Now here's Kisby as he finds Clef in the midfield to work with. It's a race in Clef. A ridiculous fake, and he beats the last 2 defenders. This guy just does it all. Denver Scream, 1-goal lead.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a really good play. He was up a little bit quicker than both Noah and Jackson double committing on that. Kisby right there to keep Death from any chance at all of getting back to that.
My goodness, and what a time for the Denver Scream to come alive. The Philadelphia Plague. Now, I think also now's a good time to mention that if we do end up in a bracket reset, we will have a 10-minute intermission, I want to say, for both of these teams to get adjusted. So we'll take a little bit of a break. And so if that does end up being the case, then don't be surprised if the stream does go on a short pause. Philadelphia, though, hoping that they can close it out before that becomes the case, but first they got to come off with possession.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about the pressure at the beginning of this game. It's definitely swayed in the way of Denver here. Philadelphia's got to figure something out to get past it. Right now, it's just sitting as Denver putting on all these shots. Philadelphia's starting to put some on, but not as quickly as Denver is. And a shot from T-Man here, coming off the backboard bounce, and perfect little bounce back into the left side. And kickoff, we're starting off with some Philadelphia pressure here. Definitely a change back to, like I was saying a couple games ago, where when one team would score, the other team would immediately take pressure off that kickoff, and it kept going back and forth a lot.
Right on, the Denver Scream, though, so confident here in this game number 7. I mean, they have truly come alive. Philadelphia, this is what I think we're looking at 5 plus 2.5 minutes of scoreless Walker League for this team. Definitely the longest dry stretch that they've had here in this grand finals. Now Jackson trying to turn that around as he sends a big one into the midfield. Death He's also got no one to work with if this defense doesn't quite go his way, and he's going to need that assistance. He's running completely low on boost. It's only Noah and Jackson to hold down the fort, but Jackson taking a pretty good job at that.
Yeah, and I mean, not just has it been 5 minutes since Philly, or about 7 minutes now since Philly has been able to score. They've only been able to manage to put one shot on net against Denver in that time.
Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty big dry spell. There's another one as it rolls into the back of net. Clef simply does it himself. I mean, we watched him score that first goal for Denver with a fake, and he's done it once again with another fake here on the sidewall on the near post. Philadelphia in a tough spot. And wow, things are certainly looking dicey. What is happening to the Philadelphia Plague?
Yeah, unfortunately, Philadelphia is just not able to handle the pressure right now, and they've got a lot to riding on this game. Do they want to go into reset? More than likely not. So unless they can start cleaning it up and getting these shots on net that they need and the goals they need, they're going to have a hard time going into that reset.
Yeah, I mean, certainly not the Philadelphia Plague we were expecting. That's to say, the very least, they were the favorites coming into this matchup by a landslide nonetheless. And Denver has surprised us again and again. Now Jackson, he's looking for the demo, trying to open up the scoreboard, but Denver, these demolitions, these bump attempts are not getting to them whatsoever. They're doing such a good job holding on. Now here's T-Man. Death turned away Kisvy as well as Clef to find the follow-up if it comes to that. And that's exactly what he does. Clef, once again, that's a hat trick for him here in game number 6. Or sorry, 7.
Yeah, and Denver just keeps increasing this lead. It's not looking good for Philly on that reset right now. And honestly, they just keep resetting that new high on their spacing between goals.
Yeah, this bracket reset is looking more likely than ever, and I think I can confirm now that there will be an intermission. We are likely going to be switching some streamers here on the back end of things, so there will be a little bit of downtime. But Philadelphia Plague going to be happy to take that downtime in stride. That 10 minutes or that couple of minutes that we're going to have is going to be a major blessing for them as they figured out. But I think out of all the grand finals that we've had on stream here, at least in this season, I think this might be the first bracket reset that we've had.
Yeah, this has just been really impressive for Denver coming back into this. Looking very shaky the first few games of this series, and now they're looking like they just can't be stopped.
Yeah, I mean, what a turnaround. I mean, it was only a couple of moments ago that we saw Denver down in the series, match point 3-1 in favor of the Philadelphia Plague. And since then, they flipped a switch to, for lack of a better words, they turned on the lights. And now they are shutting Philadelphia down. It has been 10 minutes of scoreless Rocket League for the Philadelphia Plague. And now we have got a whole nother best of 7 to contend with. So after this break, Atlantis, we will return to see who is our champion. So chat, stay tuned, don't go anywhere. We'll be back shortly.
and closing doors. Been here before, not again. We cannot hide our nasty scars. Too many sorries. What would happen now if you say you won't know if you walk away? Only heaven will play our song now before you go. Can you tell me where the hope has gone? Can you tell me where the love went wrong? Do you remember what it sounds like? We can turn the love back on. We can turn the love back on. We can turn the love back on. Power's out, the truth unfolds. Our naked souls, once again, can make us work with broken parts and silent heartbeats. What would happen now if you say you won't know if you walk away? Only heaven will play our song now before you go. Can you tell me where the hope has gone? Can you tell me where the love went wrong? Do you remember what it sounds like? We can turn the love back on. We can turn the love back on. we stand and watch the world go up in flames. We fight for love until we die in vain. When the sky is getting dark and we're broken in our hearts, when we build our own demise, from the ashes we will rise. When the world is falling down, will you be my solid ground? When the world is falling down, will you be my solid ground? Be my solid ground.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our continued production of United Rogue Rocket League, and it is pandemonium in the Noodle Cup series. The bracket has been reset for these grand finals between the Denver Scream and the Philadelphia the Plague. They could not get it done in 7 games, so we have another best of 7 on the dock for the eventual champion to claim their crown. On the desk, Pyre Square, joined by Hidden Atlantis himself, still here, still waiting, and still wanting to know who is eventually going to take home the crown. So what did you see in the first series that you think is going to have to be done a little bit better?
Well, we had a really shaky start from Denver on boost, but once we got into that midway point, Philly got up 3-1, and then Denver just kept shutting them down. What I'd like to see is more of Philly getting those good, clean shots that they were getting in the first few games of the series and cleaning up their overall play. They weren't getting the pressure they started with, and they're going to have to fix that if they want to take the rest of the series.
And that's certainly a dangerous situation to be in. You never want to go up 3-0 against this Denver team because they always seem to find a way to bring it all the way back. They did so in the lower bracket final. They did it in the first half of this grand final. And now they have reset the bracket. 5 minutes, game 1 underway. T-Man immediately off of the kickoff going for the goal. They get it over 1, they get it over 2, but Death.US sends it away.
Yeah, amazing pressure to start from Denver, looking real good. And already got a shot coming out of Clef going straight in. Just not much Noah could do to get back to that in time.
And holding things up beautifully is the Denver Scream, and you see Levani with a sharp angle shot. Noah, not enough boost to get back in time into the net. Denver taking an early 1-0 lead, just 13 seconds into game number 1 off of the ensuing kickoff. Noah from the sidewall. We know what they can do. Can they bring it back for Philadelphia? It will fall for Jackson, whose lofted shot will go high off of the frame of net. T-Man in that wonderful, beautiful, not quite sure what car body that is, but it is certainly one of the car bodies of all time. Sends it the length of the field down to the Philadelphia end. Death.US once again with a lofted clear towards the backboard, which Kivsey is privy to, and will be able to send it away.
Yeah, I mean, T-Man running that very interesting Nomad build, and it's been working out for him, so no need to change it, in my opinion.
Noah, flip reset as a demolition occurs on the right side of the screen. Death.US waiting patiently for that ball away from T-Man, who has no boost. They'll have to rotate back as well. Kivsey with a touch across the field. They will be racing Jackson the Boss to get that corner boost away from the Philadelphia Plague. T-Man intercepted by Jackson as they climb the ladder in front of their own net. Back and forth these teams have gone. This one shot from Denver still the difference in this game so far. Philadelphia looking to rectify that, but they can't get out of their own end. Jackson keeping the ball away from their net, and Denver gonna have to wait for this ball from Noah. Levani take the one shot, and Kivsey is going to go up the wall.
Yeah, Denver's coming out with that pressure that won them the bracket reset, and Philadelphia is still once again struggling. They're doing a lot better than they were coming into that, or ending out that last half of the bracket. But we'll see if they can clean it up and get that pressure and start getting some goals. 'Cause we had a lot of games that started with Denver up 1, and Philly managed to win a lot of them, but Denver managed to take back those last few.
T-Man with a flip reset kept out by Jackson the Boss. They will 50 again, a challenge at the midfield stripe to continue possession for Philadelphia, but not a lot of boost on the side of the Plague. Noah having to climb up to get the ball away potentially from the backboard, and it's sent to the relative safety of the corner. But we've seen Levani score from this very position already once in this game, looking to clear things out and harass Noah in the net as well. It's not a clear ball, but eventually gets to the midfield line. Levani again to the backboard, testing the defense for the Philadelphia Plague. They've answered all but one question, but that one is still the difference in this game so far.
Yeah, I mean, both teams putting up an impressive show of defense, but defense isn't what wins you games on all the time. You got to start having that pressure and that offense to score from Philadelphia. It's just going to keep going the same way we ended out the last part of it.
And they got to get the offense going, because as of right now, 3 minutes played in game number 1, Philadelphia still yet to record a shot on goal. It could be the start of something better, but the Denver defense still denying them at every turn. T-Man able to clear the lines for the scream and jumpstart the attack. Kisby will make it 2.
I mean, what can you say? These two just have a connection on the field, and all three of them really do. Just passing and putting that shot right where it needs to be to get that goal right past the defense of Philadelphia.
Answers for the Denver offense are lacking on the side of Philadelphia. We talked about their proclivity and their inability to generate anything on offense so far, and they are still being stymied at every turn, and Denver continues to pour the pressure on, looking for an infield pass. Vanny not able to make contact. They will defer for their teammates, but go over the head of T-Man, so they will have to get involved in the play nonetheless. Noah, upfield, Death.us is lurking, but intercepted by T-Man before he could really even get to them. Back and forth, these two teams will go at the midfield line. No quite out of possession, but that really favors Denver the further that this game goes on, and another shot in danger of going in, and the Philadelphia Plague are running out of time.
Yeah, this is looking really rough for Philadelphia right now, sitting just shy of 15 minutes without being able to put a single shot in net. But looking like right here, ooh, and Kivsey with that really impressive save off the back of their net. It's not looking good for Philadelphia right now, not being able to put these shots in net.
Could the bracket reset have iced the Plague? It is yet to be determined, as this is still just one game in another best of 7. But Denver, so far, they've come out of the gate swinging hot. This 2-goal advantage could very well prove to be the difference. The final 30 seconds of game number 1 now in play. T-Man from their own corner, able to send it away. Jackson the Boss looking for one touch. They will not be able to get a second. Noah pathing on those small pads. Gets completely shut out of the play. They'll have to race back, but in the end, the time will expire. The last second will tick away. The ball will touch the ground. Denver continuing right where they left off, and they gain a 1-0 series advantage.
Yeah, I mean, if you're sitting on the side of Philadelphia, this has got to be rough for you. You've gone so far 15 minutes without being able to put a net or a ball in Denver's net. That's going to wear on you as a player. Denver keeping up that pressure. We're looking at a complete flop from what we were looking at the beginning of the series with. The first game, Philadelphia had all the shots where Denver barely had any. Well, now we're looking at the first game of the bracket reset, and Denver's getting all the shots while Philly's barely getting any.
Yeah, that really tells the whole story, doesn't it? As well as the advanced statistics down at the bottom of the screen. Denver really just never let Philadelphia get their legs underneath them in this first game of this bracket reset. And it really showed up, as you point out, in terms of the shot totals between these two teams. They had 3 minutes played, and Philadelphia did not even have one shot registered. And they end up with this game with 2 shots. And to be honest, against a Denver team that's as good as advertised, coming from the lower bracket and resetting in the grand finals, that's not going to be enough to get the job done.
Yeah, unfortunately for Philadelphia, they're going to have to figure something out to break that defense of Denver, because with only being able to put in 2 goals or 2 shots in 5 minutes, that's not looking good for them.
Another fresh 5 minutes on the clock. Game 2 is underway, and Philadelphia going to have to come up with some sort of reset as Levani has the ball, find the hood of their car. They take to the air, but they will get stymied by the crossbar on their first attempt. T-Man intercepting Jackson the Boss, and Philadelphia again starting off game number 2 much the way that they ended game number 1, and that they're not yet able to advance past the midfield line, as everything that they're trying is being turned aside and challenged immediately by the Denver Scream. T-Man with a ground dribble takes out Noah off of a demolition. Jackson the Boss called into action to make one save, but it's still in a dangerous area. Noah able to make the save.
I mean, they're definitely showing the defensive pressure and power here, but unfortunately, they're just having such a hard time breaking past that midfield line of Denver. Once Denver gets going, they're just hard to stop.
Levani with another catch as the ball sent away from them to the far side. T-Man trying to get the read, but no contact is made. Death with no boost, trying to get a flick to go. Noah also committing with no boost. It's a 2v1. Jackson having to climb the ladder. They will turn aside the Denver Scream, at least on one of their better opportunities that they've had so far in the opening minute of this game. And finally, the Philadelphia Plague, they find Pater and they strike first.
Yeah, Philadelphia finally breaks that curse and gets a weird little pinch shot here that works out perfectly for him over both T-Man and I wasn't sure who the other person in net was, but it managed to work out for him.
It looked like they were potentially trying to set up a demolition play with the lead blocker, but it ends up going through as a pinch play nonetheless. Could be what they drew up, or it could be something even better, but the Philadelphia Plague will take the final result. A minute and a half into this game number 2. Jackson trying to add to the lead for Philadelphia. They will rotate back through, grabbing that 100 pad at the midfield stripe. Levani having to circle back around past their own net. Death not able to make contact. We'll have to call into action Jackson the Boss. A ground pinch going across. Noah did not have any faith that that ball would eventually come across the field to them, so they had rotated out, and Denver gets the equalizer on the other end.
Denver's been looking really impressive with these passing plays. Kivsey taking it across the air over to T-Man, just right there, making it hard for Jackson to save it.
And just like that, the Denver Scream are not going anywhere. At least not without a fight. In Philadelphia now, they're going to have to climb back into it. But if you have kickoff strikes like that, it's going to make that hole even further to dig out of for the play.
Yeah, it's just a very rough spot to be in. Noah got a little too far over, leaving Levani to take that perfect shot into that bottom right corner, and Death just wasn't able to get back in time.
Shades of the MLE series that I've casted so far tonight. It was a very one-sided affair in terms of the kickoffs in one of the particular series. It seemed like every time there was a kickoff, it was a goal for one of the teams, and so far it seems like Denver is that team with a better opening strat. They find themselves in the lead once again, something that they have, I guess, become accustomed to and perhaps comfortable with. And Levani, with that comfortability comes excruciatingly confident gameplay, and that's exactly what we've seen so far with a dunk on the goal line.
Yeah, just perfect time to jump and perfect read on the defensive player. It's hard to beat when it's just the last man back, and that's all you get is that one perfect touch.
Another kickoff going the way of Denver, and that clear is going to fall to T-Man, but the defense back in time. Jackson with yet another save back-to-back to keep the deficit at 2 for Philadelphia. Jackson again looking for Noah upfield. No boost on the side of anybody on Philadelphia, as Death has burned all of theirs to try and get a possessive touch away from the Denver Scream, but you can see the boost pads. Levani and T-Man, Kivsey will eventually refill all of theirs, so they're sitting pretty with a lot of resource management under their belt. Noah with an air carry. Death trying to get on the end for a redirect, but it's too far outstretched and too far towards the back wall to be of any use.
Yeah, I'm liking this change of pace from Philadelphia, but unfortunately it's just not quite been enough to keep Denver off their half and putting these balls in the net. It's a rough situation.
Is be able to send it down the length of the field. It will fall for Death.US on the sidewall. They're going to flip reset. Noah not able to quite find the end target, and now it's a 3v1 opportunity going the other way for Denver. It will fall and just outside the frame of net as the attack stalled, and the Denver Scream will have to reset once again.
But I mean, that's something that Denver's been good at these last couple games, is reset and then immediately back on that pressure, and Philadelphia just can't quite seem to stop it.
Noah from their own corner. T-Man doing their best to hold possession for the Denver Scream, but it will go all the way out to Levani. Noah again from the near side wall with another flip reset over one player, but again, T-Man standing tall, not quite being able to beat the first man, and your offense really doesn't get anywhere if you're not able to do at least that. Jackson is going to look for Noah in the corner, but they're getting bumped off of the ball, so Jackson will have to go again, deferring for Death.us, but play gets sent over their head, and now it's a odd man opportunity for Philadelphia, but again, the demolitions come through and stall out the attack for the Plague. T-Man trying to add to the lead for Denver as we close in the final 20 seconds. It might be all but over for Philadelphia unless they can score with time left.
Yeah, I mean, Denver's been putting the pressure on Philadelphia, coming in as the undercard and not preferred to win. It was looked at as Philadelphia was going to take this win, but they're showing us they got what it takes to take the win as well.
And two dominant performances from the Scream in this bracket reset. It appears that the players are asking for a lobby reset as well, so we will step aside for just a second and talk about how the Denver Scream have been able so far to just really establish their dominance in terms of how well they've been able to perform, holding Philadelphia to just one goal in the opening two games of this bracket reset. And really, more to that effect, the ability for them to prevent any sort of dangerous chances as well.
I mean, Denver's definitely put up an amazing job on the defensive end. Again, they were looking a little shaky to start, but they've definitely cleaned it up, and Philadelphia is just yet to answer well enough to take a win.
Denver now goes up 2-0 in the series reset, and Philadelphia is in danger of having the reset get further away from them. You don't really want to have any go into any further deficit than you already are. 2-0 is already difficult enough to try and climb out of. But if there's any team that can do it, it's the winners of the upper bracket, Philadelphia. They've got the talent level to do it. I just think that maybe the exhaustive of having played a full 7 games in the opener is going to have to come back and reset their mental just a little bit more in terms of the next best of 7.
Yeah, I mean, the mental's definitely got to be lacking on the Philadelphia side. Coming in, getting up to match point, losing the next 2 games to get the bracket reset, and then not being able to get anything going at the beginning of the bracket reset. That's definitely tough on a player, and let's see if they can get it together and pull off some wins.
So the lobby has been remade. We'll see if that provides any sort of jumpstart for this Philadelphia team. They're definitely going to need something to go through, and something definitely has to change if they want to bring themselves back into this series. 5 minutes on the clock, game 3 underway. And we saw Philadelphia get the opening goal in game number 2, but it wasn't enough to stall out this offense of Denver as they got it right back almost immediately. So you could say everything that you want in terms of momentum for an opening goal for Philadelphia, but it seems like Denver, they've got everything figured out.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of opening goals right now, whenever Denver scores opening goal, we usually end up with a pretty close game, but Denver has been taking the lead on them and winning them, but can't really say the same thing for Philadelphia quite yet. I'd like to see that change, though.
Def with the awkward pinch. This is going to be an open net. Kisby can't quite get over the ball, so it's going to open the door for the Philadelphia defense to get back into the play. Def outboard for Noah, and infield for Jackson, the boss. It's going to be a long shot, speculative from that sort of range. It is saved away, however, by Kisby nonetheless. Death beat out T-Man, and Levani is the last defender available for the Scream. Jackson with a quick shot, and they catch out the defense. It's another opening goal for the Philadelphia Plague.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really well-placed shot from Jackson right there, just putting it just out in front of Kivsey where he couldn't quite reach it, and it just sets the perfect tone for this game. Let's hope they keep that pressure up because they've been looking really good starting this match off.
And it speaks to how close the talent gap is between these two teams. If one mistake from the Denver Scream completely throws a wrench into the defensive structure, and Philadelphia is able to capitalize on that, at this level of Rocket League, seems like you can't really afford any sort of mistakes. Otherwise, the ball is going to end up in the back of your net, and already looking like a better team, at least in terms of the offensive structure for Philadelphia. They've got a little bit more possession, and they're doing to Denver what Denver was doing to them earlier in terms of being able to hold the possession in the Denver zone, as it's going to go high across the face of the Denver net. Death available on the far side. It's going to rebound into the middle of the field, but nobody available for Philadelphia to quite get on the end of that one.
Now we're seeing a lot of what we're seeing right now from Denver was what we were seeing early of the first bracket portion, where they just were running a lot on low boost, and it was allowing a lot of pressure from Philadelphia to come through. And a lot of that comes down to the boost control from both Philadelphia and Denver. So we'll see if they can get that boost control back and take back the game.
And it certainly seemed like in the first 2 games of this reset that Denver was the one who was able to thrive on controlling the boost away, and they certainly ended up with a lot better resource management compared to Philadelphia. But perhaps that script has been flipped, as Noah able to get a challenge even though they get taken off of the field. Jackson trying to go infield for Death. It's sent away to the corner. Noah with 1 touch, looking for a second. It will 50 straight up and down. Jackson with a run on, sends it to the far corner. It will be post and out. Could have been the first multi-goal lead for the Philadelphia Plague, but the margins, they are that thin.
I mean, it really comes down to not making those mistakes and keeping the pressure on. And right now, it seems like Philadelphia's got all the pressure, and Denver's starting to show a little bit of cracks.
Still just a 1-shot affair. Denver with a long shot from the field. That is their second that they've been able to garner so far. It seems like indeed the script has been flipped, because that was the story of Philadelphia in game number 1, with a less than desirable amount of shots compared to what you would see normally. But the stakes are high. The nerves are certainly right there with them. Kisvy with a miss on the backboard. It's going to be potentially an opening for Philadelphia to exploit. No boost on behalf of almost everybody on Denver, but still they're able to send it the length of the field. T-Man, they had a free air dribble, but it's the bump from Death.US that keeps the margin at 1, and Noah trying to capitalize on the counterattack. Death will find the ball on their hood, but it's sent away.
I mean, so far I've been really liking what I've been seeing for Philadelphia. It's looking a lot cleaner than it was in the last few games. It's just what they needed to get back into this series.
That shot going across the face of the Philadelphia net, arguably the most dangerous look that the Scream have had so far in this game, but still being held off of the score sheet. Less than 45 seconds left to play. Noah at midfield will beat 2 players. Death with a follow-on opportunity. Kisvy looked like they had pre-jumped. They're able to get back down to the ground to make the save. Away to the corner. This ball is going to go over the head of almost everybody. Noah will collect that corner boost and get one more touch, but that's an unfortunate 50 as T-Man with a clattering tackle at the midfield line sees it right into the Philadelphia net.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much more you can ask for than that right there happening out for T-Man. Just perfect timing, and was able to stop it and send it right back into Philadelphia's net, tying up the game.
And we knew that this was only a matter of time. You could not keep the Denver Scream off of the score sheet forever, and now they're starting to feel just a little bit more confident off of the ensuing kickoff. T-Man holding the ball up right at the near post, and time ticking down. Philadelphia had all the momentum. They had all of everything to play for, and a 1-goal lead evaporates in the blink of an eye. We could be staring down another overtime session, and it is the first of our bracket reset.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll see. Right now, it's not looking necessarily good for either team. Looking at overtime history for this series, this could go either way right here.
Long shot from Jackson the Boss. T-Man with no boost will eventually grab the midfield 100 pad, and Jackson precipitously taking that ball across the face of their own net. They don't get punished for it. Noah trying to assist their teammate with a pinch, but it ends up going favorably for the Denver Scream. 2 players back. It gets played over 1. Jackson trying to 50 with the others. Only goes as far as the Denver corner. F. Maintaining possession for Philadelphia. Kisvy, it will fall to them. intercepted by Noah, going back and forth across this field. Jackson carrying it away, going to go over T-Man, looking for the bump on Kisvi, but the patient play, even more patient from Noah. They can't slot it in on the near post, and Denver escapes.
Yeah, I mean, Denver's got the defense right now, and they're not letting Philadelphia go without a fight here. And I'm definitely liking it.
Beginning to mount for Philadelphia. Nobody quite able to make contact as Jackson is going to be the first person to that ball. Death.us will secure the midfield boost. Jackson not able to make contact, so it will be Death next on the ball. Infield for Noah. Sends it around Kisvi. They're going to have one more player in Levani to contest with, but good defense so far from the screen. T-Man along with Kisvi back into this near side corner. Goes over Jackson's head. Noah at Death lurking on that side of the field, but a little bit too far outboard for them to get a redirect on. A demolition on one of the Denver players. It's still not enough to stall the attack for the Scream as T-Man gets himself between the ball and the clear. Once again, trying to set things up for the Scream.
Yeah, I mean, nerves have to be racking for both teams. Philadelphia, especially given that if Denver wins this, we go into match point for Denver. And right now, this is so far the longest overtime we've had, so you know the nerves are kicking. And Denver with their pressure, it's Philadelphia's got to be getting worried.
Jackson didn't quite perhaps have the positioning to get a flip reset. Levani with the pre-jump to the corner. Contact with Noah. Death, the next up, will not make contact either as they get bumped off of the ball. T-Man with a lofted touch towards the sidewall. It gets sent down towards their own backboard. Jackson looking to 50 with Levani. They end up sending it towards the middle of the field. Death defers for Noah, who actually gets taken off of the field once again. They will have to reset. Denver with a lot more in terms of the boost management, it seems like, than Philadelphia, but they've got the resources to work with in terms of the ball being in the Denver end. Another demolition, and Noah again gets taken off of the field. And that's always so frustrating when you feel like you just can't get anything going since you can't stay on the field.
Yeah, I mean, the demos coming out of Denver absolutely killer right now, but Philadelphia's getting them too, and they're starting to open up that net a little.
Busy. The redirect doesn't quite find a teammate out. Levani grabs and secures their own corner 100 pad. Kisvi outfield for Levani. They're searching for Noah on the demolition. They actually are able to avoid that. Philadelphia comes away clean, if only for the moment. 4 minutes we have now played in this overtime period, one away from an extra game of Rocket League. T-Man directs it away. Noah decides to let Death.us handle the ball. Down along the ground, Noah will pop up, send it across to the far side of the field. This ball will rebound in a precarious position for Denver. It's going to go high. It will not make contact with the ceiling, so it's a free clear for the Scream.
Yeah, and I mean, if this overtime is an indicator of how the rest of the series is going to go, we are in for a long night of some really good Rocket League.
A long night and a long game number 3 between these two teams. Looking to end it right here is Jackson, but it's another save from T-Man. Another touch out, but it's Noah with a shot. Kisvi with the good positioning. Again, back and forth these teams have gone. We are staring down the 5th minute of this overtime period. Death outfield for Jackson. They go towards the backboard. Death with a shot. It will go. It will not make it in. The bar down. It falls favorably for Jackson, and we have finally determined a winner.
Yeah, I mean, 5-minute overtime, someone's bound to break, and unfortunately it happened to be Denver, who was very low on boost. Every player at 0. It's just not a good situation to be in that late into an overtime with the other team knocking on your door, and Philadelphia took advantage of that.
Holy moly. And sometimes it's the first opportunity that you need the defense to jump at in order to open things up. That's exactly what happened. It looked like it was going to float in towards the far post, but the bounce ends up coming favorably off of the crossbar as well. And Jackson, the hero of this game for Philadelphia. And you just look at that shot differential.
Yeah, I mean, we
My
were talking about it
goodness.
last game. Denver was putting on all the shots, and now it's turned right back around. Denver with 4, Philadelphia sitting over here with 21 shots that game. Denver was doing a really good job holding them off, but with 21 shots, you would expect them to have more goals.
You would expect, but the defense for Denver standing very strong. And also the quality of the chances, I think, for Philadelphia, not quite the best in terms of how Rocket League determines what gets counted as a shot and what doesn't. I will point out the demolitions as well for, I believe, just for, I think it was Jackson. It might have been for Death.us as an aside, but all of them for one player on the side of Philadelphia, whereas they were a little bit more spread out in terms of the Denver Scream, and they were still losing that by, I think, a 2 or 3 demolition margin. So not afraid to play physically is this Denver team, but ended up not quite being the difference maker in game number 3. So with a game win under their belt, Philadelphia looking to change the tactics a little bit in terms of the overall outcome for this series.
Yeah, and I mean, it's really good work from Philadelphia to avoid that match point for Denver, but they've still got to bring it back. They're still down 2-1 in the series right now. So they've got to keep that going and keep that pressure up.
50's right on the goal line between Kisvy and Noah. Goes all the way the opposite direction. Jackson the Boss right at the goal line as well. The saves between these two teams keeping the game level. A minute gone, still no score. Death intercepted at the front post. Noah will continue on. Philadelphia will have another look at the net before it's sent away by the screen.
I mean, it's looking like Philadelphia is starting to wake back up and come back into the game. Definitely putting a lot more pressure than we were seeing in the ending of Series 1 and going into Series 2.
Jackson trying to play it around T-Man, who makes a little bit of contact. Kisvy and Levani looking for each other at the midfield line, not quite able to establish any sort of connection. Outfield from Jackson only finds Kisvy waiting for this ball. It will go off of the ceiling and it will go off of the backboard as well. Levani with a change-up shot, saved away by Jackson the Boss.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing very impressive play from both teams. That was a really dangerous shot. Unfortunately, T-Man couldn't quite put it in there. And it just continues to keep the game 0-0 at the moment.
T-Man trying to do their best Levani impression, but too sharp of an angle with which to convert on that chance. Death will grab the corner boost, flick it over one. Noah secures the midfield boost as well, so resources not quite lacking, but Levani doesn't have any boost on the side of the Denver Scream. Jackson, the double tap off of the backboard. Death does an about face and trying to get past this Denver defense. Noah and Jackson both get demolitions, but the ball is over their head. Kisvy doing very well to buy enough time for their teammates to get back on the field.
I mean, both teams are definitely showing us why they are here and why they deserve to be at this point in time. But unfortunately, right now, they're both challenging each other perfectly, and T-Man's managing to get that perfect pass clear out and straight into the net.
That's an infield pass from Jackson looking for a teammate, and unfortunately none was there, and the difficulty of these saves as they go over the shoulder cannot be overstated. As someone who's struggled with that for many years of Rocket League, it only seems to get more difficult, especially as the stakes get higher. The grand finals reset. Denver has now captured the lead once again. Levani, the first for Kisvy from the corner. That's going to be another goal for T-Man.
Yeah, I mean, these passing plays from Denver, once they get them going, they're just... Philadelphia doesn't have an answer to stop it, and they've got to come up with something or it's just going to keep hitting like this.
Under 2 minutes left to play, and it is a 2-goal lead for Denver. Both goals scored by the man on the ball right now, T-Man. Looking for their third and a potential hat trick, but turned aside by Noah on the goal line. Jackson the Boss and the defense for Philadelphia scrambling just a little bit. Upfield, Death, they don't have any boost, but it was a good look. It's something that we're looking to see out of the Philadelphia Plague. The team play not quite coming to fruition as of yet, but we know that the potential is there. And speaking of team play, it's T-Man again off the pass from Levani, turned aside by the Philadelphia Plague defense.
Yeah, I mean, T-Man's just been the name tonight. He's been on top of it. Seems like anytime he has the opportunity to take that shot, he's going to, and almost every single time he's been able to convert it and put it in.
On defense this time, sends it across to the far side of the field. It's a rampaging ricochet from Death.us. Unfortunately for them, they're going to have to exercise on pads. They don't have a lot of boost to work with. Noah with the challenge. Death.us with that limited boost gets beat to that ball, but it's going to bounce just outside the frame of net. Denver not quite able to add to their lead as we approach the final 30 seconds of this game number 4.
Yeah, I mean, Denver's just keeping all this pressure on Philadelphia right now. They're just unable to stop the ball. And at this rate, it's not looking good because you've also got, if T-Man's not taking the shot, you've got Levani and you've got Kisvi on the other end, both of which putting shots on as well.
Death, limited boost, still able to get past 2. T-Man will climb their own backboard by a lot of time for this Denver Scream, sending away a lot of this remaining clock Philadelphia struggling to work with. And again, unless something happens here at 0 seconds, they will be held off of the score sheet for the second time in this reset. It's now the Denver Scream on series point.
Yeah, I mean, this is just an inverse of what happened in Series 1 where Philadelphia ended up going up 3-1, but let's see if they can turn around and pull off what Denver did to bring it back.
And it seems like the pendulum has swung back towards the Denver Scream. You can see the advanced statistics at the bottom, the possession and domination firmly on the side of them, but you look at the shot totals as well. I know we had that extended overtime period in game number 3, but still this is about as wide of a discrepancy that we have seen compared to that. And for Denver to be as on top of things on offense as they have been so far in this series, it's going to take a Herculean effort from the Philadelphia Plague to bring themselves back into it. Not saying that they can't, but the road, it's going to be a lot longer.
Yeah, Philadelphia's definitely got to clean up the shots and get a little bit more pressure on the Denver side if they want to be able to take these games.
Oh. Game 5, will it be a decisive win and a series reset win for the Denver Scream? Or can the Philadelphia Plague pull some magic out of that Plague mask and send us to a further continuation of this series? They're looking to strike early off of the opening kickoff, but denied again by the Denver defense. Kisvi, high, on the backboard. Nobody's available. Noah will have to come all the way from the other side of the field to clear the lines for Philadelphia.
Yeah, I mean, right now, if you're a Philadelphia fan, you've definitely got to be on the edge of your seat because without this game, it's over. And unfortunately, that's where we're at this point in the series. And Denver's definitely showed us they deserve it with Kisvi taking that shot right there. Just perfect bar down and in.
And it's got to be so disheartening, especially as you know that the bounces so far haven't favored Philadelphia. And a shot from that kind of distance you normally wouldn't expect any sort of danger from. But all of the scenarios have gone correctly for the Denver Scream. And so far, Philadelphia has yet to respond in terms of being able to mount anything sort of convincing outside of that one overtime victory that they had in game number 3. This starting to look a little bit more promising for the Philadelphia Plague, but once again, it's T-Man who is being the man for the Denver Scream thus far in this series and for the entirety of the original series as well, playing their heart out, looking for that championship.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really impressed with what Denver's been able to come out here and achieve tonight. I mean, you managed to pull the reset and you're on match point. That's definitely got to be a big confidence boost going into this game.
Noah across for Jackson the Boss. Boss looking for that Denver net and will instead fall outside. And that's a missed touch from the Philadelphia Plague. Noah comes across the net to make the save, keeping the deficit at 1. And that's exactly the kind of heroics that they're going to need in order to keep themselves in this game. But will it be enough as Denver looking to mount yet another attack? Levani with no boost gets beat out. Death.us, a little bit of a miscommunication between them and Jackson the Boss as to who was going to initially make that challenge. They've sorted things out, at least for the near term, as Jackson's ball will go all the way across to Kisvy, and they clear the lines for Denver.
Yeah, I mean, at this point in the series, Philadelphia's got to clean it up a little bit. They can't be having those issues where they seems like they just are off on communication. Because I get it, you're stressed. It's a lot going on. You're at the final game potentially, and it's a lot of pressure. But if you're making those mistakes, it leads to Denver goals.
Man, around the corner, Noah, an uncontested miss, uncharacteristic from what we've seen from them so far, but it's a ball off of the backboard. Demolition occurred at the midfield line. That one has a dangerous chance of going in. It will go off of the bar and out. Again, the bounce is not doing any favors for Philadelphia, but they've got another opportunity as T-Man. Their challenge will go by the wayside. Jackson's going to have one more shot. Kisvy able to get their car between the ball and the net. Keep the margin at 1, and there is danger of stretching it to 2 as that ball is going to float in, and who else but T-Man?
Yeah, I mean, they're just keeping that pressure on the defense, but they're unable to get any effective shots past the Denver defense, and it's just leading to goals from Denver going right back past them.
I'm not sure if that was shades of desperation or just a potential defensive mispositioning on behalf of Philadelphia, but either way, the hill just got a little bit further to climb. The margin is now 2. In Denver, they are 1 minute and 40 seconds away from a Noodle Cup Series championship, but Jackson, the boss, trying for the redirect, kept out by T-Man. Denver staring down what could have been a fantastic defensive stand, but Death.US will have the last laugh.
Yeah, I mean, that's just perfect placement from him, perfect positioning. Put it right over T-Man. Just an uncomfortable spot with T-Man having no boost and being the last back.
Short of 90 seconds left to play, they're going to need another miracle, and perhaps even one more beyond that, to secure a game win and extend this series for Philadelphia. Noah and Death.US both contest the same ball, leaving Jackson alone. Nobody from Denver immediately pressing until T-Man goes off of the ceiling, looking to squeeze it through on the near post. It will not go through. Could have been added insurance for the Denver Scream, and they still have every opportunity to get another one. But Kisvy holding things up. T-Man and Kisvy again off of the crossbar. All this pressure from Denver, shortening the clock in the time period that Philadelphia have to get back into it.
Yeah, I mean, between Kisvy and T-Man, their passing plays have just been on point, keeping the time clock ticking down, and Philadelphia's got to do something quick if they want to bring this back.
Final 30 seconds standing between Denver and the championship. One final effort is all that remains from the Philadelphia Plague. They have to go end to end in the final 15 seconds. Noah with no boost defers for Death.US. A 50 in the corner. It will stay in the corner for Denver. Death looking to throw one more ball at the Denver net. This ball is staying up. It lofts high into the midfield line. Death with one more shot. Levani will make the save. Away to the corner. The ball will stay up. Noah and Philadelphia doing everything that they can to keep the ball up. It will not be enough. Denver are your Noodle Cup Series champions.
I mean, both teams definitely put up a fight, showed that they were here to be here, but unfortunately, Philadelphia just couldn't hold Denver when they had the chance, and it turns around and goes to Denver on this one.
The rematch with Destiny, having lost the winner bracket final to this same Philadelphia team, getting sent to the lower bracket where they had to fight through in 7 games in the lower bracket final, and then coming through to the grand final where they had to reset the bracket in 2 best-of-7 series. The Denver Scream are able to defy all odds and come away with the Season 16 Noodle Cup Series Championship. Congratulations to the squad for T-Man, Kisvy, and Levani, who were on the field today, and also their 4th player as well, whose name escapes me for the moment, but I'm sure They are going to be celebrating in the VC and in Denver tonight. All props to them for the miracle run that they've pulled off here today. And so that is going to be the end of our broadcast today, I do believe. We thank everybody for watching, and for Philadelphia, they came oh so close, and I think they had their opportunities as well, but unfortunately a little bit too little too late, and I think the momentum for Denver got them all the way through. So that is your Noodle Cup Series season on the docket. We will, I believe, have more Rocket League for you tomorrow evening. I think we've got Fettuccine League and Macaroni League games on the docket for the broadcast tomorrow. But in terms of everything that we've had here tonight, congratulations once again to the Denver Scream. That's Hidden Atlantis. I've been Pyre Squared, and that is going to be our broadcast for this evening. We'll see you all for the conclusion of Season 16, maybe, for at least one of the leagues, tomorrow evening.